Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a fabulous Friday. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, today we're going to create 10 cards with the Spellbinders card kit of the month for June 2022. This month's card kit was super fun. It's all about birthdays, and during my unboxing is when I created my party hat. I did die cut out Make-A-Wish, but we're going to use that on our second card. I trimmed down my panel that I adhered this to, and I do need to add a little bit of adhesive, a little more adhesive, because I want this party hat to be a little bit bowed, so I have a little bit of dimension, so it kind of curves a little bit, so I'll have to reinforce that glue. But we're going to use the party hat that I created during my unboxing for card number 1. So I have some die cut elements. I'm going to grab those. I did trim down my white cardstock panel so that it measures 3.5 inches wide by 5 inches tall. And so we are going to grab some more of our die cuts. I have the little scallop, the balloon, the little party jams, the party mixtape, a few of the little starburst. There we go. I wanted 3. I wanted a small, medium, and large of the starburst. I'm going to put my coffee aside, and then we're going to zoom in, and we're going to build a card. I have my card base. This is the pre-scored and folded card base that came in the kit. I'm going to take my orange cardstock. This measures 1 3/4 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall. And I'm going to use my tape runner to adhere it all the way to the left of my card base. Behind my panel here, about the midway mark, we're going to tack it. Now maybe a little upper, towards the upper section. And I'm going to tack my scallop behind this panel here, like so. And I did mention I need to make my party hat curved a little bit more, so I'm going to add a little more glue right behind it. And of course, ideally you'd want to do this while you're making it. Before I adhere it down to my panel, I'm going to take my little birthday jams and I'm going to tuck it underneath before I adhere my party hat down. And I think at a little bit of an angle. I think that's going to work out great. And then I can kind of basically bow my party hat until my paper grabs. So what I mean by bow is, maybe I can lift it up to show you. You kind of need to add a little pressure. If you lay it flat, it looks like this. But if you kind of pull this side up a little bit, you see how that bows? That creates a really dimensional hat, and that's where I want it to stick. And before we adhere it, I want to stamp my sentiment up in this section here. I'm going to stamp with my stamp set. And I'm going to stamp happy birthday, and I'm going to stamp right underneath it, I wish I was there to help you celebrate. So I had already put these on an acrylic block, and I'm just going to use my VersaFine ink to do my stamping. So we'll ink this up. Okay, I have my sentiment stamped, and next we're going to take our balloon, and I'm just going to adhere it, kind of like it's kind of free. I do have a piece of foam adhesive behind it. And then we're going to add this, so it's overhanging on our party hat a little bit. And then I'm going to flip over my panel and we're going to adhere it. We're going to adhere this directly to my card base. And after we have this done, I have our little party elements. And I think, let's see. I think that's a good spot. For this one up here, this is the medium little starburst. I put a piece of foam adhesive behind it, and then I did the larger one also. And then the smaller one, we're just going to directly adhere. And then that will finish card number 1. Okay, for my next card, we have a few elements that are not part of the kit. I went through my cloud dies. This is the Spellbinders Sun and Cloud die set. Love this set because there is debossed detail on the clouds. You get the swirlies, and then you get the sun. So I did do a little bit of shading with my oxide inks for my sun. On white cardstock, I used squeezed lemonade and then add a little shading with mustard seed. And then die cut out 2 clouds. I think they just go perfect with our little rainbow. And then I have my Make-A-Wish that I die cut out with gold mirror cardstock. I did this during the unboxing. And then I have 2 chipboard elements. This is a little yellow happy face, and then with heart eyes, super cute. And then I have a gold heart from our chipboard sticker pack. I have 2 pieces of, this is white cardstock that is the same size as the pattern paper here, and this has the soft cloudy looking watercolory cloudy sky looking. This measures 3.5 inches wide by 5 inches tall, and again they're both the same. I'm actually going to mat this on my white cardstock. We're going to do that right now. I want to pop this up, and so I wanted a little bit of stability since the card the pattern paper that comes in the kit is thinner. We want to mat that on some heavier cardstock. This way we can add a little bit of dimension by popping it up. I do want to add a gold strip along the very top of this panel, and I'll just use my tape runner for this. And again, this is 3.5 inches wide. Just add that to the very top. On the bottom, I'm bringing in, you can use your corner rounder. I'm going to use a corner rounder and round the corners. Now, I'm using, this is from Fun Stamper's Journey. Love this. This is actually for envelopes. But I love how this, it rounds the perfect corners. But they don't have this available anymore. But if you used your crocodile, I would suggest maybe using the 1/2 inch side to round your corners. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add let's add some foam adhesive behind here. I'm trying to use up my fun foam. I love the Spellbinders pop-up foam sheets. Although they're not adhesive backed, they die cut beautifully, but I have lots of fun foam left over in my stash, and I want to use this up. Okay, and then I'm going to take that corner rounder, and I'm going to round the bottom of my card base too. We're going to add our rainbow with some dimensional adhesive, and I'm also going to kind of space my cloud where my sun where I want it on my panel. Okay, I went ahead and added my clouds right below it. I have my little gold heart for my chipboard pack. We're going to add that just above my larger cloud there, and then we can add our sentiment. I finished adding my Make-A-Wish, and then that will finish card number 2. Okay, I'm ready for card number 3, and we're going to make a shaker card with this one. In the chipboard pack, we have this frame, and I did put a piece of acetate behind it, along with some thin strips of foam adhesive. So I just put acetate behind it. Since this is adhesive back chipboard, I placed this piece on an acetate sheet, pressed it down, and then trimmed around it, and then added my fun foam, or my foam strips. Easy to create. And then I also trimmed down a piece of white cardstock that would fit behind it for my shaker. I'm going to grab my sequin mix, and we're going to fill up our background here. And I'll remove the release paper off of my foam strips. And then we can add that white cardstock backing behind our little shaker. Quick and easy shakers are always nice. And then there is, for the most part, it shakes a little bit, but I like that they're stationary because we're going to add our party hat from our 3D party hat sticker pack. I took the one with the yellow stripes. We're going to add that to the very top of our shaker. We'll pull it down a little bit. And then also in my chipboard sticker pack, I chose Celebrate. It's the green Celebrate, and I'm going to put this straight across my party hat, and that will be our sentiment for the card. For my background, I have some pattern paper. This has the little burst on it. This is going to be a card front panel, so it measures 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. I'm going to adhere this directly to the front of my card base. And then I have a slightly smaller piece of vellum. This vellum measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. So my yellow pattern paper is peeking out from behind here. I'm going to line it up on my card base, and then I have a piece of my gold mirror cardstock. This is a 3 by 3 inch square. I embossed this using my embossing folder. This is the Spellbinders Big Dot Slimline embossing folder. I think polka dots birthdays just go perfect together, and I think it goes really good with the circle shape of our sequins. So I'm going to first adhere this, flip it around. We're going to adhere our mirror cardstock on our vellum, centering it at the top like so, and then I can remove it, flip it around, and I'll add adhesive behind here. And this is what's going to hold my vellum to my card base. And we'll place this in the center. The vellum, it just gives it a soft look, and I like that. Just kind of gives it extra something to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use glue behind my shaker. This does take a little bit of time to dry, and of course, to put this in an envelope, you might have a little bit of trouble. If you wanted to replace this pom-pom with one of your homemade pom-poms, you could do that if you wanted to, or you just put this on the present. I think that's a cute idea. But that will finish off card number 3. For card number 4, okay, I love this pattern paper in our paper pack this month. It's just so summery, and I love the colors. So I trimmed down a panel with this one. This one has little daisies on it. Kind of looks like polka dots on screen, but they're actually teeny tiny daisies. This panel measures 3 3/4 inches wide by 5 inches tall, and I'm going to adhere this directly to my card base. Now I love that in the die cut pack you get some florals that coordinate beautifully. I love that. I'm going to place this on the very top right corner, so I have basically an L shape on this side. And then I'm going to take this floral panel, which measures 3 1/2 inches by 4 3/4 inches tall. I'm going to adhere this directly over the top, and I'm putting it in this top right corner. Basically we have a little bit of that orange showing. Okay, next I did take my Have an Amazing Birthday. This is part of the chipboard pack. I put this chipboard sticker on, I die cut out a circle. This is a 1 3/4 inch gold mirror circle. I used my circle punches to punch this out. I stuck this together, and then what we're going to do is add this to a white circle. This is a 2 inch white circle, but I do want to add a little bit of dimension, so I want to put some foam circles behind here. There is foam adhesive in the kit, but it's a little bulky, and I love my foam squares, but this is the foam circles that I'm using are about less dimensional. Not as much height to them. But I'm going to layer all 3 of these together. Now I have some of our die cut flowers I mentioned before, and I have tape on my mat, and then 2 of the solid leaves. We're going to add some adhesive behind our sentiment circle, and I'm going to place this in the center of my card base. And then we're going to add some foam circles behind our florals. I'm going to flip over my leaves. We're going to add some tape behind here. And I'm going to do a little tucking with them, so it's overhanging on the white. I always like to do that. And then I'll do the same with this one, like so. And then last but not least, we're going to bring in some of our gold sequins, and we're going to add a little bit of sparkle to our background. I went ahead and added some sequins kind of at a angle here. But I just love the way this turned out. I think that's a fun birthday card. That finishes off card number 4. Okay, for card number 5, I love the candles that are in the kit, and so I have, and these, I took both of them. There's 2 different sets. Of course, you get 2 of each die cut piece, or two ephemera pieces in the kit, which makes it always fabulous. Love that. I have some pattern paper that I trimmed down. It's got the gold polka dots on there. This measures 2 inches wide by 4 1/4 inches long. I'm going to add some adhesive behind here, and then we're going to add our gold to the very bottom. This is a 1/2 inch strip of the gold mirror cardstock. I didn't measure my white cardstock, but it's about 1/2 inch taller than my pattern paper. So it's about 3 inches. I'm going to layer, after I add my gold, I'm going to add my pink. Now I'm doing this because I'm going to pop this up with some foam adhesive, and the paper's a little bit thin, and so this just adds some stability to my panel. Now what we're going to do is take our candles. I'm going to flip them over, and we're going to add some adhesive behind here, and then I'm going to layer them about 1 inch from the edge. And then we're going to kind of create a border with them. Okay. After we have both of our borders adhered, I may have to trim a bit. I'm going to take this panel and flip it around, and we're going to add some foam adhesive. We have a little bit of dimension. I'm going to leave my candles the way they are, but you can trim them if you want. Okay, I have the little kitty cat with the gold party hat. We're going to flip this guy over. We're going to add some foam squares behind him. Okay, after we have our kitty adhered, I'm taking some white cardstock, and in the stamp set, there's a sentiment that says, "Now wish like you mean it." So I wanted to add all the candles. So we're going to stamp that with some black ink on some white cardstock. I'll trim off a little bit off the back side of our sentiment. I'm going to remove the release paper, and then we're going to tuck the right edge under our kitty, and then we'll add the sentiment following that. Okay, I want to do one last thing to this card, and then we're going to also add some sequins. I need a few more. Okay, kind of missed the boat on those. Now I have some gold mirror cardstock. We are going to take the pom-pom die that came with the kit this month, and I'm going to use this to embellish my card. So I'm going to die cut out. I'm not sure how this is going to work out because it's bendable, you can see here. So we're going to test it out, but I'm going to die cut this out with gold mirror cardstock. So after we have it die cut, it looks like a comb. And so I'm going to use some score tape, and I'm going to go over the top of my comb. And then for this, I'm going to use my reverse tweezers. These are wonderful. I'm just going to pick up the end of my score tape and remove the release paper. When you put the score tape down, it's going to overlap on the comb pieces a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to hold the end of my comb with my reverse tweezers, and then I'm going to start curling it. And when I curl it, you're going to see the reverse side of the foil, and that's not going to be a big deal here. When you curl it, you want to go loose, because if you go too tight, you won't get your tweezers out. But once you have the end adhered, hold your tweezers together so you're basically holding the center of your your pom-pom, and then use your finger and fluff out your, you gotta hold it tight, but you have to fluff out your pom-pom. This makes a fabulous flower center, a flower itself, but it also makes a fun burst for birthday cards. Love that. So I hope my camera, you can pick it up, but isn't that so cool? Now if you were to roll the opposite end, it would be a tighter, more dome shaped pom-pom, but I like the bigger one. Then I'm going to kind of flatten it out with my hand, but you see how it makes it like a starburst? And I'm going to add this to my card here. Glue dot might be easier to adhere this. And the gold made it really fun because it keeps its shape too. Fun starburst. I put some glue dots behind it, and then we're going to add this to our card. If you wanted to add a couple more, I think that would be adorable, but I think that's going to work because we're going to add some sequins. And I'm going to add a few dots of gold. Make it a little more festive, and then that will finish that card. Okay, for card number 6, birthday time again, I have some of the striped pattern paper. This measures 4 inches by 4 inches wide by 5 1/4, and we're going to go ahead and adhere that to our card base. And then you can see off to the left here, I already embossed with my polka dot embossing folder. This is the big dot again. I went ahead and embossed a panel, and this panel measures 2 3/4 inches wide by 3 3/4 inches tall. That's going to go in the center of our card base. I have the chipboard piece here that is a banner. I did put some foam adhesive behind it. We're going to adhere this to the top right of our polka dot panel. And then I have the chipboard happy birthday. That's going to be our sentiment. Then I also took the chipboard tag that says loved, and I threaded some white twine through there. I already went and put foam adhesive behind here too. We're going to use some more of the dimensional party hats, and I'm going to place these two. I have the pink and the gray. I'm going to place these kind of wonky. And then I'm going to take my happy birthday. I'm not going to add any foam adhesive. I'm just going to tack that down just below the banner. And then I'm going to, last but not least, we're going to add some sequins. Let's add some glue where we want to put these. Last but not least, I'm going to go over my heart here on my fishtail banner from the die cuts, just to give this a little dimension. I kind of went outside the lines here. Let me see what I can do to clean that up. Use my tweezers. Let's spoon a little bit of sparkle on that heart. Love doing this with glaze and glue. Sparkle clips and glaze and glue create some pretty good stuff. I'm going to tap this off in the garbage can. I'm going to use my tweezers and kind of clean up that glitter, push it back in the heart area so the heart kind of maintains its shape. And then that will finish off card number 6. Okay, card number 7, we have some pattern papers. The pink polka dot measures 3 inches wide by 4 3/4 inches tall. And then we have some of the script or typewriter paper. This is slightly smaller. This is 2 3/4 inches wide by 4 inches tall. We're going to place this pattern paper on, crisscross it on our pink, like so. And then we're going to flip this around, add some adhesive, and we're going to tack this down to our card base. Now when I tack this down, I'm making sure that this is centered and straight. So basically it's the pink that's kind of wonky. Now I have a strip of vellum. This is 4¼ inches wide by 1¼ inches tall. I think it's going to soften and give a little bit of extra something to my card. We're going to take a chipboard ice cream cone and then also the die cut ice cream cone. I just kind of crisscrossed them together. I can't pull them apart because they're stuck pretty good. But I'm going to go ahead and take a strip of our orange pattern paper. This is a little bit over 1/4 inch, a little less than 1/2 inch. I just wanted one row of those flowers basically. And I'm going to adhere this along my vellum. So we have about 1/2 inch up from the bottom basically, and then I can trim this off. And then I have a very thin strip of the gold mirror cardstock. I'm going to place this right below it. One line of adhesive, and you won't be able to see it behind the vellum. And then I'm going to tack this down on the front of my card base towards the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and add some foam adhesive behind my ice cream cones here. I think that looks playful and fun. And then for this card, we're going to use the Woohoo and our puffy stickers. And we're going to add, hopefully I can get you, I'm going to use the sentiment on my paper as a guide on where to place these because they're all individuals. Okay. And I'm also going to use the burst in here too for this card. So we're going to add some playful bursts. I'm going to finish this off by adding a little glaze and glue and a little bit of glitter. Sparkle cuts over our strawberry on our ice cream. And then now we'll finish card number 7. Okay, for my next card, we're going to make a floral birthday card. And I have some pattern paper that matches the die cuts. Don't you just love that? So I have all three, well, I have a yellow, a darker pink, and a lighter pink of the florals along with the leaves. And then this panel measures 4¼ inches by 5½. It's actually card front size panel. What we're going to do is adhere the bottom half of this panel to the bottom of our card base. So this, so I didn't, let's tape this down. So basically I didn't tape, oh, did I do the wrong side? No, yeah. So this section up here, I didn't do anything to. Okay, now we're going to take a piece of the gold mirror cardstock and almost at the same angle as where we didn't tape, I want to tear. This tears so pretty, guys. It gives you a little bit of white paper underneath the tear. You can see here. Just love that. And then I'm going to trim this down, add some adhesive behind it, and then I'm going to tuck this tear along the area that doesn't have any adhesive. Okay, after we have that done, I'm going to lightly tack this top section back. I might have to fix this tear a little bit. Kind of like the way that looks. Just fold it over just like that. Now we're going to take our flowers. We're going to add some foam adhesive behind here. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment. In the stamp set, we're going to use Celebrate. And I'm going to bring in my VersaFine ink for that. Maybe we should stamp down here. Let's stamp Celebrate down here on the white, on the reverse side of our pattern paper. I think that would be pretty. Yeah, I think that works out good. Okay, now we can arrange our florals. So I think that is so, and then I'm just going to call this card done. I think that looks, I'm going to scoot this over a little bit though. Edge. And then that will finish off card number 8. Kind of a simple card, but I love the way this looks. Okay, card number 9. I have a panel that I embossed once more. Now this panel here measures 3.5 inches wide by 4 3/4 inches tall. And I'm using polka dots, but really guys, you could use any kind of embossing folder if you wanted. You could use the embossing folder of the month club kit if you wanted to. But I think the polka dots go good here. I have a piece of the Happy Birthday pattern paper, and this measures 4 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches tall. We're going to start by adhering this to our card base. There we go. I'm gonna take my polka dot pattern paper, and I have 2 of the frames from our die cut pack. I took the chipboard kitty cat and already tacked it down to the side of the frame. And then what I'm going to do is use my glue, and we're going to go over the frame with glue. And now what we're going to do is fishtail the end of this sentiment. Hope I didn't smear it. Sometimes VersaFine takes a little bit of time to dry. Now what I'm going to do is take my frame and my sentiment, and I'm going to put my sentiment inside and then tack my sentiment behind my kitty. And since it's a chipboard sticker, it should stick like so. Okay, now what we're going to do is flip this around, add a little bit more glue. And then let's go ahead and take our polka dot and adhere this to our card base. We'll center this. And then after I add glue behind here, I'm going to line this up so it's this straight edge over here is on the edge of my card. And we can tack it down. If you wanted to pop it up, you could. But sometimes I go crazy with foam adhesive, so sometimes it's nice not to pop it up. But I'm going to use glue around the second frame. Pick that up, and I'm going to put this right above our first frame. Okay. This heart's going to go in the top frame. And then we need some extra sparkle. The pom-pom on the kitty's party hat is gold, so we're going to add some extra sequins here. I'm finishing up gluing down my sequins. And then lastly, we're going to take some more of our glaze and glue, and I need a shiny balloon. So on the chipboard balloon, we're just going to add a little bit of glaze and glue. And that finishes card number 8. And no, card number 9? Card number 9. Okay, for my final card today, I have to use the cupcake. Gotta use the cupcake. I have a piece of white cardstock. The white measures 2 3/4 inches wide by 4 inches tall. And that's where we're going to stamp our sentiment. In our stamp set, we have a sentiment that says, "Have a sprinkle confettied in rainbows kind of day." And I think the cupcake goes perfect with that. Let's stamp this with, let me grab one that's big enough here. I'm going to stamp this on the bottom of my panel. Okay, I had to do a redo. The first one was a little heavy, so I just flipped over my panel and did a redo. Okay, I have this fun piece, die cut piece. We're going to add that to the center up here on top. Okay, and then I have a piece of gold cardstock that's slightly larger. We're going to mat this on our gold. The gold cardstock measures 3 inches wide. Actually, I take that back. It measures 3 yeah, inches wide by 4¼ inches tall. Let's go ahead and adhere this to our gold. And then we can see I have my die cut border. I love this border. We're going to add a little thin bead of glue. Actually, we can use glaze and glue. And then I'm going to tack this down to the left of my card. We are going to add our cupcake right to the center. Now I did die cut out one more pom-pom, and this was so fun, and I just spread it out using the same gold cardstock like we did with our other card. I'm going to go ahead and use some pattern papers. This is the birthday candle pattern paper, and it measures 4 inches wide by 5¼ inches tall. This is going to go on our card base. Make sure my candle flames are right side up. And then I have a strip of the yellow and white pattern paper. This is going to go right down the middle. After we have that done, I went ahead and put foam adhesive behind my fun foam behind my panel here, and we're going to adhere this to the center of our card base. And then I'm going to take my pom-pom and I'm going to use some more glue dots here. Glue dots seem to work best with the gold. I'll just pick up a few. And then I'm going to add a pom-pom right next to my cupcake here. And then that will finish off card number 10. We're going to go over real fast all the cards that I created with the Spellbinders kit. Let's make a little bit of room. So here is a quick look at all 10 cards made with the Spellbinders June 2022 card kit of the month. It's called Party Hat and Streamers. I think everybody needs birthday cards, so I love that they came out with the birthday kit. And I'm going to put this one over here on the end because we have some cards that need to dry a little bit more. But we have a little bit of a variety. Some playful ones, some serious ones, I think for all different boys or girls alike. And then we have this one here. And those are the cards that we made today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Let me know if you like the 10 cards one kit closer to when the kits ship, or if you like it at the first of the month, along with the unboxing. I'm just curious to see what you guys think about this. But I hope you enjoyed my projects. Have a fabulous rest of your week. Have a great weekend. We will see you soon. Bye-bye.